Hello everybody, it's Aaran back from Screenstars. I'm here once again to do another review for Geek Legion of Doom, and today I'm reviewing the 2020 horror film Human Zoo, a film that's co-written and directed by John E. Seymore, and it stars Robert Carradine, Rosete, Jessica Cameron, Megan Lee, Heather Dorff and Kristen Evelyn. Right. Now, this is a Wild Eye release film, and it is one of those reality TV type horror films that focuses on a new reality TV show, or a supposed reality TV show, called Solitary Confinement. And the premise here is the contestants who apply are then put in a cell, an 8x8 cell, with just a t-shirt and some underwear, and are fed once a day. They are given food once a day and water once a day, and they have to survive for as long as they can. And the last one remaining will supposedly win $1 million. As soon as you've had enough, you look at the camera, which is filming you in the corner of the room. You hold your hands up like this and you say, "I quit," and they are supposed to let you out. Essentially though, as time goes on, it becomes obvious that this is actually something far more sinister than a reality show. Right, so that's all I want to say without giving you any spoilers here on this film. So what are my thoughts on Human Zoo? Well, in some ways this is a fascinating film and a very, very interesting film. It's almost like a study of human behaviour and like a social experiment. It does render the question, how would people behave in this kind of scenario? It's quite a low budget film. That's clearly obvious from when you watch it, and it's actually quite a clever idea to film a film like this using a low budget. Essentially you're just filming a number of people in 8x8 rooms, and just filming their interactions with themselves, as they essentially have a slow descent into madness, and that's what this camera is filming here over several days. It films these individuals' descent into madness. I mean, Robert Carradine is the face of this film, I suppose. Is all over the promotional material. However, the reality here is that he's barely in it. He's in it very, very briefly when he's talking to the contestants, and then there's another scene when he's watching them on the cameras, and that's pretty much about it. But that's part of the course, really, with sometimes with films like this. But it doesn't necessarily detract from what actually here is a pretty fascinating and vile film at the same time. It's not necessarily a pleasant film to watch in some ways, because the only real horror on display here is, let's say, these human beings, these people, slowly descending into madness, and they're slowly realising that what they thought was happening isn't happening, and it's actually you find yourself watching this film, and sometimes you wonder, why am I still watching this? Because all you are literally watching is these people on cameras descending into, their mental health deteriorating, and that's what you're watching for the whole film. Apart from the setup. Now, the setup of this film I thought went on too long, but it kind of, I understood it more because the rest of the film was literally just them being filmed in these 8x8 rooms, concrete rooms, if you like. So the setup was a bit long, and then you're watching, and it's quite gripping and interesting to watch, and you find yourself wondering, why am I still watching this? Because that's what you're watching, these people on these cameras. But it's kind of morbid fascination, really, and I was thinking all sorts of things watching them, thinking this was probably really good for the actors in this film, for them to express their range and to really, really perfect their acting style and practice, and because none of them are particularly well known in regards to the genre of acting. So, and I do think some of them put on some really intense performances here, that really, really sold this really deeply distressing situation that they're in. And there was an actual scene in this film that actually made me gip, which doesn't happen often watching any films. I've got quite a strong stomach, really, and there was a scene in this film that actually did make me gip a little bit. Maybe it's because the character was gipping, I'm not sure, but it certainly did its job on me. So it's a morbid, interesting, grim, dark film, this. But be warned, there's not much happens. There's no masked assailants walking into these cells chopping them up. You don't get scenes of I mean, they call it human zoo, but you don't get scenes of anybody literally observing them other than a brief scene with Robert Carradine. So you get no explanation what's going on, why they're there. It's clearly not a reality show, and you kind of hope by hanging in there you're going to get some answers by the end, and disappointingly that's not what you get. I don't think you get a satisfactory outcome here. So it's an odd film, it's an interesting film. It's for what it is with a budget. I think they've done very, very well with a budget here, and it is a real take on the mental health of humans, and how they could descend into madness if they were put in this scenario, and how would you react to it. It does raise a lot of questions, so it's very, very interesting in that sense, but it's not effective in others. So I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. I found it too long as well. It was nearly 1 hour 50 minutes. I think they could have shaved a good 15 minutes off this film and sped the pace up a little bit, and I do think the payoff at the end I don't think was particularly good. Well, you didn't get a payoff. So that's my review of Human Zoo, of quite an interesting film here to check out. I hope you enjoyed the review. Thank you very much for watching, and of course we'll see you back for more reviews on the channel very, very soon.